Hello, fellow Business Brokers of Florida member. This is Brian Stevens, and I'm sharing with you a great recording by the amazing RussellCohen. And he's got an office down in Boca Raton in that part of the state of Florida. Been a top deal maker year after year after year, and been in business for 25 years or so up to the date of this recording. He's got the CMAP and the CBI and the BCI and the CMA and all kinds of different initials and that sort of stuff. Has sold over 700 businesses, and I don't know in that period of time any individual broker that has sold more than that. Enjoyed this great video. Thank you very much. Take care and be awesome with the Business Brokers of Florida.
Be fun. All right, marketing is fun, but also challenging. Can you hear me okay?
Can we hear it? Everybody here?
All right, good. All right, so today we're gonna teach you how to build a pipeline of engagements that provide consistent income. And you're basically gonna see a lot of things that I've done in the past and some things that I don't do anymore, and you're gonna be overwhelmed. But take one idea that you think you want to implement in your practice to help improve your listing base. So we're gonna jump right in. We're gonna talk about internet first. So, you know, the front page of of Google or any search engine only has so many limited spaces. So if you're not showing up on the internet, then you're clearly missing out. And everyone has websites. The question is, are you making the investment needed to be in the front page? And we're going to go over ways to get on the front page. But unfortunately, this all takes money to spend. So you know, unless you have a war chest of money to blow, you got to get a few deals going to then reinvest back in your business. So, but back in 1999, I was out there cold calling, and now I don't. But I do spend a lot of money on marketing. So basically here, what we have here, we have two websites. For 20 years, I was really Main Street Business Brokerage. And I had my website, which was on the left, okay? That's my Main Street Brokerage. And then I started converting over, started to work the M&A side of our profession. And I'll give you a quick story, and this will support why I have two websites. I got a lead, and I got a lead from Clients.io, which I use for email marketing. And I get into a very large roofing company in like August of 22. And I went up there alone and did a whole interview process. And the controller then went back on the internet and found me as a business broker. And I lost the deal. And then I brought in one of my agents who has to be is a higher level M&A advisor, and we somehow got back into the deal, and we actually got the business, you know, engaged. And 1 year later, we sold the business for $100 million. So the moral of the story is, if you're going to jump into the M&A space, and you need to have two websites. So that's where SouthFloridaMNA.com comes into play, because once you meet with someone and you're out of the picture, they're going on your website, and if they find you on the internet as a business broker, you're not getting hired. So that's why I have two sites. So that's a good quick start there. So if you want to jump on the internet and you're trying to do search engine optimization, okay, that's where the leads are free, okay? And that's on the bottom half of the front page of all the search engines. But we're not experts. So my recommendation is to find an expert. Find a company that will do it for you. It's gonna cost it's gonna cost money to do the search engine optimization, and it will take time. It could take 6 to 12, 18 months for that whole come around and you start seeing fruits of your labor. But that's how you get on the front page, is to get professionals to work on search engine optimization. And I've been on the internet for a long time, and every couple of years I redo my keywords. But the moral of the story is, go out and get it outsourced. I use a company called Digital Wow, which you'll see a little later. But the quickest way to get on the internet is obviously Google AdWords, the sponsored. But the problem is, you're going to be on the merry-go-round of money. And back in 2007, I was spending $500 to $1,000 a month, and I was on the merry-go-round, and I had to get off that merry-go-round, which I currently off the merry-go-round. But if you're not in the top 3 spots, then Google AdWords, your SEO company will get you to that position, and you can bid up certain keywords and get found on the internet. So these are important things as a business, because in Main Street, you're going to get leads off the internet. M&A, I'm still trying to perfect that. But in Main Street, that's very pivotal. And then a lot of, if you're familiar with the Google Maps, Google Places, this is an opportunity. If you're the owner of an office, you can have your business show up in the maps and places, and that also is a great lead generation. You'll be able to show pictures and awards and all different stuff like that. So it's important to have your SEO firm get you in the right positioning. If you're in Tampa, you have offices, you focus on the city where you have if you have multiple offices, that's even better. So that's important too. So these are all little ways to get found on the internet. Geo-targeting. So in South Florida, we have hundreds of cities. And so what I've done is we build not a landing page, but a back page. So for example, Weston Business Broker or Miami Business Broker, Fort Lauderdale Business Broker. So I spent money on the SEO of certain cities, and I did about over 100 plus cities in South Florida. And so what will happen is it will show up in a link. If a business owner is based in Weston, Florida, goes Weston Business Broker, then I will show up not with my front page, but the back page, and it will lead to my website. So think about all the cities that you have here in this marketplace, okay? And you got to think of what is a business owner typing in. Sell my business Tampa Bay, sell my business in Petersburg, or the individual city. That will generate leads. So once again, geo-targeting is part of the package that you invest in yourself and your business that will help generate listings for yourself, engagements. Google reviews. Show of hands, how many people have 5 or less Google reviews? Okay, how many people have 10 or more? Okay, how about 20 or more? 50 or more? Okay, 100 or more? Okay, so now these Google reviews don't have to be a business owner. Think about that. It could be a buyer, it could be a friend, it could be an attorney, it could be a CPA, it could be anyone that could vouch for you. I have a buyer distribution list of 25,000 people. And so here's a quick little tip that will help you build those reviews. I have 160 reviews on my website. I offer a $10 Amazon card or a Starbucks card, and I send it out to those 25,000 people who will leave me a review. And then all of a sudden I went from 10, and I went sky high, which is really good. And like I said, it doesn't have to be a seller. It has to be someone who really just wants to vouch that you have high integrity, you know what you're doing. And the Google reviews, how many people over the years have said, I read your reviews, and you seem like an honest person to help me sell the business. So it's just so simple to do. So that's a simple little trick.
Russell, what do you do if you get a review that's not stellar?
Oh, I just had that the other week. I had a 1-star review, and I immediately replied, and he pulled it away because he was wrong. He accused me of not setting up a meeting with the seller, and the seller wanted me to get the driver's license, and it became a crazy thing. But he withdrew the review. So I do have.
But it has to be on their end.
Yeah, the 1-star review has to come from
their end to
yeah, so you have the ability to reply and thank someone for a review, or try to
always reply.
Yeah,
always reply if nothing else.
No, you can't please everyone. Sometimes these buyers will drive you crazy, and you're gonna get a few that are gonna, demand a lot of stuff out of you. But all right. So, social media for listings. Go ahead.
So would you recommend? Obviously, Google's really strong, but would you recommend on your own site as well, for them to leave reviews? Do you also do that?
Yeah, sure. You could do many times. I've done videos on my website. You could do a video testimonial. A lot of times you can transport the Google reviews to on your site, which is great. That's what your website company will do. And yeah, because these sellers are going to go on the site. They want to know that you've had successes. So that's great. So yeah, so try to interlink. And also in my presentation, I also put a bunch of reviews in my presentation. So when I was my leave behind. So with social media, I tried real hard with Facebook for a couple, before 2020, and I put a lot of money in, and I just didn't like it. It just didn't really produce for me, so I personally don't like Facebook. I don't even have a Facebook account because I'm against, you know, what's been going on with Facebook and censorship. So I dropped Facebook completely. So if you could find a better way, I did hire someone to do all the, you know, the Facebook ads and it just didn't work for me. You know, LinkedIn, I do have a company working the LinkedIn scene, you know, so it has not really panned out tremendously for me, but you got to be involved in it. You got to build the connections and, you know, a virtual cup of coffee and all that stuff, and hopefully, you know, you can get some leads out of it. But, you know, LinkedIn is business to business. I really have never used the ad spend on LinkedIn, but I have spent quite a bit of money on LinkedIn to drive higher connections and try to get listings. So that's great. I don't use Instagram. I don't use TikTok. I'm not really into that. But if you want, my next move is YouTube videos, because that will help you get generation on the search engine marketing. So probably in the next 6 months, I'll probably hire a company. We'll do a production of videos, and you don't have to. You know, there's cheaper ways to do it. You can go out and buy, you know, some equipment, and you can just sit at your desk and talk about your last deal, or congratulate your sellers, or talk about the issues in the deal, and you could build up your own YouTube channel, and you don't have to spend a lot of money on these videos. So, and there's AI where you can do videos too through AI, so which I have not jumped in yet. So social media is another avenue. I know a bunch of people who made it their prime part of their business, and they're no longer a business broker. So don't make it your 100% what you do, because you will not be here next year. All right, let's keep going. All right, so networking is a very pivotal part of our industry, and I'm show of hands, everyone is out there networking, right? You got to do it. It's a slow process. You know, it's a marathon, and if you can stay the course, you're going to get engagements, and you're going to get big engagements. So networking is very important. We're going to talk about ways to network. So, you know, we all know about Chamber of Commerce. That is a really long journey. You're going to have to get really involved, maybe get on the board, and maybe there'll be some leads. I joined the Commercial Realtors Association in South Florida. They're not competitors, because I don't want to sell the land. I want to sell the business, so I partner with other commercial realtors, and they know that I'm harmless, and I'm there. When they have lunches at Morton's once a month, and they have social events, and make partners with them, and they're referring me into their clients. So that's great. I just sponsored the Florida Financial Planners Association. Those are your financial planners who are talking to the owners about their future. So I'm a sponsor for the South Florida, and that's a long-term journey that has not panned out, but I think it's going to be great. There's the FICPA. Get involved with the CPAs is always very good. This year I joined a peer board. Peer board group is when you have the ability with 6 different CEOs, and you talk about your goals and your plans and your issues in the business, and that also potentially could lead into some potential engagements. Social club, there's the Tower Club in Fort Lauderdale. We were just talking about the City Club, right? Right? Cities, right? I'm sure they have networking events that you can, if you join that, you have networking events there. You can, potentially meet people. Contractors Association. I belong to it's called the Executives Contractors Association. It's all CEOs, 80 members. So that's once a month. So that's very important. And I do networking groups. You've heard of the BNIs, you've heard of the NPIs, you've heard of execs or pro-advisors, right? Those are very important. Those will get you to high-level CEOs, and it will get you deals. I can tell you that I've sold insurance agencies, I've sold large med spas, but you have to get involved. You have to show up every week. Now they have lots of Zoom meetings. but this is like hardcore, got to spend the time, all right? And you got to spend the money. Let's keep rolling. Anyone have any questions about what I just said? All right, let's keep going. So I talked about NPI. I'm in 2 NPI groups, a Wednesday and a Friday morning. I'm really big on the morning because everything kicks off after my group. So I'm not, that morning, I could just go to a networking group and nothing gets affected in my business. My Provisors is a Zoom. BNI is a very strong networking group. You only can belong to them. And then I belong to a group called the Palm Beach Execs, and I live in Broward County. So my meeting starts at 7:30. I'm out the door at 6:15 in the morning to go to this group because the Fort Lauderdale one was already taken by Transport, so I couldn't get into that. But that group got me a $3 million air conditioning company and some other smaller deals. So, you know, my wife thinks I'm nuts that I'm up by 5:45 on Tuesday, but, you know, at this point in my career, I'm still doing it. But networking, pivotal. That's the low-hanging fruit for you. All right, so let's talk about referrals. Obviously, your current clients, you can got to get referrals from your current clients. So you got to find a way to keep yourself top of mind to your current clients, to the CPAs and attorneys and financial. You know, all these people you meet, you grab the card, you go out to lunch, and you're not going to go out to lunch with them every quarter. So I'm going to show you a great way to stay in touch with people that is different than email, okay? Because you can put everyone in a database and you can email them a newsletter, educational, which is what everyone's doing, but I got something that will make you stand out. And hopefully it'll be coming up after. I thought it was the next slide, but we're going to keep going. All right. And that one is you know, what I'm going to talk about with the follow-up with the referrals. You'll like it. All right, so direct mail. I'm using a company called Nations List, and they have a territory that I secured in South Florida, and basically they're targeting the higher level companies for me, and they're sending out a letter every month, about 1,000 letters a month, and I'm targeting larger companies. So if you haven't done direct mail, it's basically a numbers game, and you're hoping for a couple of calls, and you can, I'm sure there's a lot of companies in Tampa that could do that. You know, nice formal letter, and you're basically, you know, looking to make a contact and help the business owner get to the next level to determine if they're looking to sell, maybe by like a broker opinion of value, or just telling what the business is worth. But direct mail does work. It's a little antiquated, but it still does work, okay? Let's keep going. All right, here it is. So this is called Reminder Media. So I got about 600 people on the left over here, the Reminder Media. 600 people on my influencers list. I call it influencers list. So, and I should have a lot more. I should have like 1,000. So this is my magazine, okay? So every 60 days, they get this magazine, and it's about business. I didn't write the magazine. It's called Reminder Media. It's $4.50 per magazine. It gets mailed to everyone on my influencer list, okay? And that's how they know who I am. I didn't find it. One of my good friends in Charlotte told me about it, and I just started it about 6 months ago. So that's awesome. It's a whole, and they have it for all different types of professions. So as I get attorneys and accountants, all different spheres of influence, financial, they get onto my influencer list and they get this from me.
Monthly, quarterly?
What's that?
Monthly?
Every 60 days.
60 days.
Yeah. So right now it's running me, you know, it's running, I think I got I stand corrected. It's running me $600. So I got like 100 plus people.
Every 60 days.
Yeah, every 60 days. And then you want to update it with new people. All right, so then over there it's RSVP. Everyone heard of RSVP? That is the shiny pack that shows up at your house. If your house is at a certain price level, then basically I will show up at your house. So I ran for Boca Raton. You know, we ran it for 2 quarters. And, you know, that goes, contractors are in there, some restaurants in there. Actually got RSVP on the market right now. So the seller of the RSVP put the business on the market for $950,000. So even though I spent $3 grand on that, if I sell his business, then that will be a $95,000 commission. And this type you have to keep doing over and over again. But you're hitting, you're hitting the home, which a lot of people are not hitting the home. And a lot of times, I'm going to change my ad to really focus on the spouse. Whoever reads it, because they say the spouse reads 85% of it. So basically, I'm going to try to change the ad to talk about travel. Is it time that your spouse should be traveling with you? So we're going to try to change it up to kind of like a startling statement, and catch their attention. So, the cost, a couple grand. Oh yeah, it costs a lot. Yeah, it definitely costs a lot of trouble. Listen, it's always the spouse driving the other one out. So got to target. All right, so let's keep going. Telemarketing. A lot of people don't do telemarketing. I don't like calling people on the phone and dialing for dollars. So I have a company doing it for me. I had one past 6 months. I'm trying a new company, and I'm talking to a company right now that's going to be like an AI-generated telemarketing. So we're going to see how that develops. Telemarketing is great. You're going to get leads, and
You get leads or appointments from it?
I don't want them to set the appointment because my schedule is, very tight. So I want them to give me the leads, and I'll chase them down. So just another one. What's that?
The AI companies doing all that.
Not yet. I have not hired them yet. I have someone who approached me. It's like in India. Yeah, so I'm trying to making sure if he's legit or not.
Yeah.
So we might do a trial and see how it goes. But yeah, things are evolving.
Machine-generated calls?
What's that?
The machine-generated calls that we all get?
I'm researching it.
Yeah.
I'll let you know as I dig into it. But he's been hawking me.
Do you, excuse me, these telemarketers that you hire, do you give them a list of potential companies, or do they create one for you?
I do have a database that I have from my M&A subscriptions. So I do try to give them a list, and if they say they have a good list, then I'll vet out the list basically. Yeah. All right, let's keep going. So email marketing. Show of hands, who's doing email marketing? Right? Okay, very important. So I'm using a Brokers.io, Clients.io. That I basically been using them for about 2 years. They got me into that large roofing company, so that's great. So that will forever be ever grateful for them. My spouse is generating we have a template, and we're sending out emails every single day. We have a subscription to SourceScrub, which is like Apollo.io, Zoom Info. These are stuff like that, where you could download business owners, and we are sending out 20 to 30,000 emails a month, basically.
So have you found a good CRM system? Like, what is your favorite CRM system?
Good question, because I haven't had a CRM until 2 months ago.
Okay.
So I've been 25 years without a CRM. Okay? Okay? I just signed up with Tupelo. Tupelo is a sponsor of the BBF. Their system's great. They send out the NDA. People sign the NDA. The SIM gets released right away. And then it also, if you want to release more in the data room, they have a data room. It will release all the information in the data room. So that's pretty much what I'm using it for. They have a SIM feature. They have an email feature that are not 100% developed. But that was a major move. A lot of people use PyDrive. It was a lot of money to set up PyDrive, and I didn't want to. I heard there was a lot of integration issues, so I didn't go with PyDrive. Tupelo is great. It's like $200 a month for 2 users, and then it's $100 for the third user, and then $50 a month extra for each user.
There's another
So-
one, Deal Relations, which is
Deal Relations,
which is
another one.
also a
Yeah.
business brokerage CRM.
Yeah, it's they're all good. What works for you? All right, so I'm Clients.io, Brokers.io, great service. Yeah, you got a question?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Did you say you're using the Brokers.io for email marketing or for telemarketing?
They're not telemarketing. When I signed up, they were doing email marketing. They kind of shifted a little bit where they're generating leads on the internet. So
Okay.
they're doing a little bit of everything.
Clients.io, but it was for
No, they're not, I mean, I know they do a lot of different things now. But, yeah, but they're basically lead generation. When I signed up 2 years ago, it was email marketing. Now they shifted around, they're placing ads all over the internet to drive leads for evaluation, yeah, so when you talk to them, I'm sure they just expanded to telemarketing. All right, so email marketing is pivotal. All right, so buyers. You know, you got all these buyers. They call you, and you can't wait to get rid of them. Get them off the phone when they're not your, right? It's like, you know, 98% of buyers don't buy. If you are chasing buyers, you will not be in this business very long. It's a listing game. Just list businesses, you will survive. Okay? But here's the but. Build a buyer database. Like I said, I have a buyer database of 25,000, and you know we used to manually input it. My wife would just take each lead and manually input. You could actually download it off BizBuySell. Every buyer that has ever come through BizBuySell is a Excel file, download into your CRM or whatever constant contact, and now you have a buyer list, which now you can send up an email update on your engagements. So my 25,000 buyers will get my engagements maybe twice a week, and we advertise five of my listings. Now you think you're just hitting the buyers, but a lot of business owners are on that list. So I'm getting listings off my buyer list. So it works great. You know, a lot of times you ask, where'd you come from? It came from my buyers list. They said, you've been emailing me for all these years, let's talk. So it works. It does work. You don't, a lot of times when you're talking to these buyers on the phone, you ask them, what do you do? They're a business owner. Then I really, really get nice because they might be my client. I become super nice. All right, so let's keep going. And then, as I talked about email marketing, we do an email blast to 20, 30,000 emails and keep the flow of engagements coming in. Right now, I currently have 40 engagements right now, 40 right now. And I have 2 M&A deals that I'm handling right now. So yeah, like I said, this is overwhelming. Can't do it all, but if you like something and you get motivated, try to dominate it. Okay, so I personally have not done it. Actually, I have a in-person webinar room in my office, and I have never really actually did it. But a lot of people say, you know, webinars are great, or if you could have a presentation in your own office, hey, why not? You know, if you have an opportunity to show your expertise, and you know, you might be able to, you know, build up a very strong engagement. You know, so my friend Dean McDonald in Atlanta is a firm believer in this, and he does it very well. All right, so let's go into unique advertising that you never thought would generate business for you. All right, so when I launched South Florida M&A, you know, no one knew who I was. So I did a who's who of, you know, not like a who's who, like men of influence. You know, so you pay for it. You pay for the influence. So I did it was a good press piece that was pretty good. I don't look like Jason Taylor, but that's okay. And so that was pretty cool. They gave out an award, and it's on my wall, and just for my head. So anyway, so that was the launch. Get some press release from my new company. All right, so here, banner advertising. This got me a $8 million company. So my kids used to go to private school. They're now graduate college and in college. But when they were in private school, I noticed all the cars going around and around, and I noticed that there was businesses advertising. So I called out, how much is this? $250 a year. So I was like, okay, that's a no-brainer. So all year, I have this banner up in front of the car line. Everyone's seeing me. So I got this specialty rim tire shop that called me from it. And we got them engaged, all from a $250 ad. Okay? And we're gonna sell that business this year. Okay? Next one. We have the Jupiter Hammerheads in Jupiter, Florida. And 7th inning stretch. I am the sponsor of the 7th inning stretch. So I took my wife there for the game to show her my great advertising. She walks in and says, you just lost $5,000. You're not going to make any money. It was a waste. Lo and behold, 3 months later, I get a call from an attorney, property management for $2.5 million. I don't have to tell you, those sell really quickly. Sold. And I told my wife, you should not be in sales. All right? So she doesn't like when I tell the story, but it's a great story. So you would never think, and the guy knew me, because I did a deal with him like 20 years ago, and he's like, wow, you came up, and I'm like, I got a client. I was like, great. All right, so, and I renewed this year, did not get a lead, but I'll continue to do it. All right, so this is kind of weird, a little funky. Here's a menu. So I advertise on the menu. I get a call, like 10 years ago, and I meet with a seller. Did not want to sell. And then years later, he calls me up, sell his business. And because I was advertising on the menu, he sold the business. $250,000 pizzeria. All right, big deal, right? But it was $25,000 commission for a $175 ad, right? That's a good rate of return. All right, so you never know. You just never know, right? Just never know. Just be everywhere your competition won't be, right? All right, so, and then this one is a static TV advertising. I am like on 80 TVs across South Florida, and other businesses are flowing through. I might come on once every 3 minutes. So that's pretty cool. So that gives me good brand. A lot of times the sellers say, hey, I saw you on TV. It reaffirms who they hired. And, but yeah, and a lot of times the people, all those 80 businesses might call me because they see me all day.
Whose picture is that?
That's actually a very recent picture. A lot of people in our industry put a lot younger picture. So I did upgrade my picture. So good. All right. So another ways to do it. There's a Biz Buy Sell Lead program. That was fairly new. You could spend $50, $500, and they'll send you leads too. There's over 300 directories online that you can you could have your SEO company get you involved in all those directories. And obviously, directories are good. Doesn't mean it's going to bring you a home run, but the more directories you're in, the more linked up you're on the internet. So yeah, SEO company is very important to have part of your branding. I am not an expert on marketing. It may sound like I know what I'm doing, but I love to sub everything else. All right, so questions. I went through a lot. Your head should be exploding, but one idea. Go ahead.
I would ask you this. You showed us all the things that we could do, all the things that you've done. When you look at over the course of your career, or let's say over the last 10, 15 years, what are the top 2 or 3 that have generated deals for you that you closed, at the most closings, and if you had to give up everything else, but these 3 things you can't give up, what would they be?
Well, the highest commission came from the lead from Clients.io. So from the biggest deal, because the largest deal I ever did before was $4 million, and then I jumped up high, and that enabled me to move into the next level of my career. So that was like pivotal. The networking groups are great because those are multi-million-dollar deals. Just suck up a lot of your time, and a lot of people just won't do the marathon that it takes to do that. What I don't do is I did a lot of print advertising back in the day. I was in 4 or 5 different magazines, spending a couple $1,000s. I did sell what do you call it? I'm pulling a blank. It was it was like a med spa service company franchise, and we sold it for $1.2 million off a newspaper, off a magazine advertisement. So back in the day, that did work, but I have withdrawn everything from print advertising except the RSVP, basically. But networking is good. Email marketing works. I pulled the list off Source Scrub, which is how I generate my list, and we did an email blast, and I just took on a $3 million EBITDA plumber, just from an email. So it's just consistently doing it, and that email that we sent mentioned that we made this nice large sale, and that kind of got their attention, and that brought them in. And for my larger deals, I've been using Exio. Have you ever heard of Exio? It's called Go Exio. It's a video SIM, and they take a small piece of your commission, but it's really an incredible platform that I've been using. They help you find the buyer, and they do a very professional video, executive summary, and it knocks the socks off all the buyers.
What's it called?
Letter X, the letter E, the letter O.
Go Exio, yeah. And if you want, if grab my card, send me an email, I'll make an introduction to them. And we sold a plumber for $1.2 million. We sold a food dessert manufacturing company for $600,000. We're using them for my plumber because the standard SIM is great. You know, we have professional companies that will write up the SIM, but I wanted something that stood out. You know, if you're going to go in and meet with someone, you got to look different than the next person they're calling in, and you don't want them to call the next person. So I'm using different type of technology that allows me to land the engagement and no competition comes in. So that's important to me.
On your email marketing, are you using a list that you've already got, or are you generating new lists from a source? And if so,
Right.
what's the source?
Right. So Zoom Info is great. A lot of people use that.
And you get CEOs, and you get the
Right.
the
You can pull. You know, there's depending on the plan you take, you're only going to have limited of what you can pull.
Yeah.
There's Apollo IO. That's a great list. Because of the M&A source, we have a subscription to Source Scrub, and we're pulling lists off that. And it's also used for buyers, right? If you have a large company for sale, you're trying to find a private company to buy them, you know, we pull lists off Source Scrub to find the buyer for the larger deals. So yeah, there's a lot of different lead aggregators that you can sign up with, but those are kind of some of the key ones, you know, that are out there. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, Russell. So when you said we spend a lot of money for advertise, so what based on the percent, like gross commission? Like
Probably
5,
10 to 15%, $50,000 to $75,000
Okay,
a year, and that's pretty consistent. Yeah, I mean it's going to pay back, right?
Yeah.
You're dealing with large numbers here. You know, on a minimum fee of 15 grand or $1 million deal of 100 grand, okay. Plus the referrals that you get after. Okay.
Do you list out of state, or do you hand those off, or what are you doing with those?
Well, the Florida license, I try to stay in South Florida. The only reason why if I ever would go out of South Florida, something large, and they, you know, I don't really like, I drive enough. I don't really want to be driving 400 miles for a showing, you know. So, but I do try to stay in my, but in M&A, it is nationwide, but there's enough low-hanging fruit where I am that I feel I can kind of stay around where I am, you know. So invest in yourself, invest in your business. You know, hopefully these are some good ideas that will help you. A lot of these are just old ideas, okay? These are tried and true, and you know, AI is starting to come into play, so I feel like I have to reinvent myself that way. I haven't found one yet, but I'm a little resistant, but I am going to be jumping into it. You know, this is what's going to take to make you survive. We don't know what's going to happen in the next. Well, let me ask you, how many people were here in 2008? Okay. Yeah, 2008 brokering. Yeah. Was it fun?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Right. All right. So 2007, I sold 55 businesses, and then as a result of the recession, my commissions dropped 65%. Okay. So if you haven't been through a recession in this business, it gets hard. You are living probably through a recession, but no one's admitting it. It gets hard, and it gets really hard. Okay, really, really hard. When you start working with downward trends, Tammy's not going to be able to finance it, and it really gets into seller financing, and the liquidity is very not great. So that's what we're walking into in the next couple of years. So get your marketing in order, get listed up, and because it's going to take a lot more engagements or better quality engagements to get the sales done. Okay. All right. Very good. Thank you.